time for FYI, second week. Of course, that means the mayor, Scott Maddasion, he's got a lot on his plate. Now, Scott, you're going to be back in again on June 8th, and that'll be the opening day of Tailgate and Tall Boys. And then after that, you're out of town. You're going to have a great time up in Michigan.
Yeah, I am. And it's a family vacation, so I'm like extended family, like aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. So it wasn't like I was like, I'm getting out of here after the festival's over. It was like, this is the week we're doing it, because they actually wanted to do it the week of the festival, and I'm like, well, I can't go then. So
yeah. I remember you talking about that last year.
Yeah. So it's going to be exciting, and I'm excited for the festival itself, but the amount of work that has been put in between myself and a lot of people throughout the city, especially Josh Eggers, it'll be nice to sit by a campfire in Michigan and eat cherries and just turn my phone off for a while.
No doubt. You have been busy not only as mayor, but as a full-time employee as well of Aegis Credit Union. How do you balance the two, Scott?
Oh, very carefully. I joke because I never have used a calendar in my life. Like, I've never wrote things down or put it on a calendar. And like, as soon as I started doing the mayor thing, if I didn't have my calendar glued to my hand all the time, I wouldn't even know where to be. And so that's the one thing, make sure you write everything down so you don't miss anything. But the balance is you don't get lunch breaks. You don't get anything like that. You're always doing something. I think I pride myself on a lot of things, but one on the credit union side is that I make sure each and every person there is taken care of to the fullest extent, whatever they need. And I don't think anybody's been affected by me doing the mayor job, other than like, hey, can we do 3 o'clock instead of maybe 11 because I have a meeting or something? So, and that's both sides of the coin. I think I've got a good balance there. I wish I had an assistant or something that would help me, but it is what it is at this point.
Just prior to you coming in, I don't know if you caught it or not, we had Marcus Steen and Bill Mashevitz in talking about the mural that's going to be going in down at the ballpark. But what struck me about Marcus, he's going to be a senior this year at Clinton High School, talked about wanting to stay active in his community, and which is what you have kind of done too as a native of Clinton.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important. This is the place that I grew up, and I felt like my childhood growing up here was outstanding. I don't have any, negative thoughts or implications of Clinton, and I just wanted to be a positive voice and a positive ambassador for that same thing, not only for my kids, but everybody's kids. A lot of people that I grew up with, they're all having kids now, and some are a little older, some are similar to my age, so as far as their kids are, and I think that was the biggest thing, is like, Clinton did a lot for me growing up, and I felt like I gained a lot of knowledge and experience and a lot of positive in the upbringing here, and I just wanted to maintain that, because Clinton truly is a wonderful place, and I think you could probably be negative about no matter where you're at. I don't think it matters if you're in Clinton or San Francisco or Chicago or somewhere in Texas. If you want to be negative, you're going to be negative, but if you want to be positive, you're going to be positive, and I think that's just really the message that I wanted to carry through.
Seems like a lot of positive things going on downtown, a lot of things coming down in downtown.
Yeah. So obviously the Great Revivalist Brewery is open now, and I don't know if they have their full menu yet, but they're adding stuff as they go. I've been there a few times. That's outstanding. And then, as things like that come open and happen, we have the Rusty Barrel that opened as well just a little bit before that. We now have in the paper yesterday the post office. There's been I don't want to use the word settlement, but I don't know whether word to use, but a settlement and a sale of that, and a couple that want to redevelop the old post office because they really love that building. And I don't have a lot of details on what they want to do, because there was a couple ideas thrown around, and I don't know what they've finalized on that. But hopefully sooner than later we'll see some rehabilitation on that building and bring it back to life, because I think growing up it was still a post office, and I remember going in it a few times, but really would love to get back at its glory and see that too. So little things like that happen, and then obviously we have some demo going too, which with the old pool hall, and then the Strand and the RSVP building. So sad to see history go in those two aspects, but we already have a developer that's ready to go for that corner where the Strand and RSVP is.
Great.
It's not a done deal. They have some, obviously, anytime you're doing a development, you have financing and things like that going, but we're looking at a development that would have covered parking, like with a key card parking on the bottom, a couple levels of market rate rental, and then a couple levels of actual owner-occupied condos. So that you'd have a beautiful river view with a rooftop patio area where you'd have like a dog walk and flowers and all that kind of stuff. So hoping that comes to fruition, because that would be really neat, because we really don't have any housing like that. I mean, the Wilson building, you can see the water. I think the Armstrong building, you could probably see the water a little bit, but we don't have anything that, if you owned say a 4th or 5th floor condo on that east side of that building, what a view would you have? I mean, just looking at the park and the water and everything.
That's true. Is my perspective of this, that corner there, those buildings probably needed to come down. I know there was some historic significance, but they needed to come down. The pool hall pretty much needed to come down. But
we tried to redevelop the pool hall twice.
Yeah.
And the developers didn't follow through. So at that point, what do we do, right?
Yeah. But, you can see like the old Roosevelt Administrative Building, how that has turned into a beautiful apartment complex. And I know, like you said, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do with the Clinton Public Library, but that is an amazing building.
Oh, I love that building. Isn't it cool when you drive in? You come across a bridge and you see that building there. Like, how welcoming is that? And that I've always liked that building. As we mentioned, the old post office. I mean, that building is pretty awesome too. I mean, you think about the architecture and all of that when it was built, and how well it's withstood the time and everything. It's just cool to see that.
Going to be taking a break for the weather here in a couple of minutes, and in the second half of the program, I'd really like to get into the tailgate and tall boys with you, because that's going to be now less than a month.
Yeah.
Less than a month away from
28 days?
Yeah, something like that, and really get into that. But what are some of the other things that are going on right now with the city council?
The city council the other night, you saw the signing of the development agreement for the Atlas Roofing Company that's going to be coming into the rail park. That was a huge announcement by IEDA last month, and we're getting everything in order for that. I'm pretty confident that they want to start breaking ground later this summer, early fall timeframe. So you're going to see dirt moving out there sooner than later to get that $250 million project going. And I know all the updates about ribbon cuttings and when things are going to happen will be passed out through Grow Clinton. So if you're looking for that type of information, look out for them, because they'll make sure and get that out there. And then we approved an agreement with ADM over this last meeting on Tuesday, which is a ginormous opportunity for not only ADM but for the city of Clinton. And this is going to double the size of our regional water facility out there that handles all of the sewer waste and everything. It's going to double the size of it. It's going to take all of ADM's wastewater. And what it'll do is, one, it gives ADM a way to get that service and get rid of their wastewater. But there's also going to be some revenue sources based off that. And then hopefully, once the facility is built and we start making some money off that, we can increase users across the board and hopefully get that residential rate down. That's really the goal. And this is a joint venture with ADM, and the city's taking out the SRF loans, but ADM and the contract, it's like a take or pay contract. So basically they have to pay for all the stuff that's in there, and it's like I had folders and pages to sign of this contract. So it's quite large. I can't give you all the details, but it's going to be a really good thing for the city.
All right, a lot of great things, and we're going to talk more with Scott Maddasion. Our break for the weather brought to you by Morrison Community Hospital.
We're tracking a few more clouds clouds as we get into the afternoon, but still warm with temperatures expected to reach the low to mid 80s. Watch for scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms tonight, and temperatures only falling to the low 60s. More scattered showers and storms for Friday, highs in the low 80s. With your Storm Track 8 forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Right now we do have fair skies, 68 degrees. Our update brought to you by Morrison Community Hospital. National Nurses Day is observed annually on May 6th. On this day, we raise awareness of all nurse contributions and commitments and acknowledge the vital role nurses play in society. This day, which happens to be Florence Nightingale's birthday, symbolizes the start of a month-long tribute to the nurses at Morrison Community Hospital. Many times, nurses are the front line of communication between doctor and patient. Morrison Community Hospital is proud to recognize the nurses that treat our patients every day. When you visit our hospital, be sure to tell the nurses thank you. FYI, and of course, second Thursday, that means Scott Maddasion. Now, on the next time we visit with you, it'll be opening day, June 8th, to Tailgate and Tall Boys. Give us an update on how things are going.
Things are going well. They're starting to get more and more hectic, just because I think as things get closer, there's more things to do, and there's a lot of work still to be done. I mean, up until June 8th, we're going to be working, and then even throughout those days, there's going to be things to do. The biggest thing that I think Josh Eggers and I worked with the city team to accomplish over the last couple weeks is finalizing traffic control, street closures, and how we want traffic to flow through, because we expect to have a lot of outside cars that maybe are not as familiar with our community. So that was a big thing, and I know the Clinton Herald put it out there, and I got some feedback. There were some negative comments on the Facebook about it, but I want to reiterate to everybody out there that the street closures and the traffic changes and things like that are 100% put out there for the safety of the citizens of Clinton and the citizens and the people that are coming here. It's a safety thing. It's not a power thing. It's not a we don't want you to have access thing. It's a safety thing. We need to make sure we control that stuff. Our chief of police and our deputy chief have a ton of experience running big events like this, because they both have retired from Chicago, working many events there, right? Mm-hmm. So their input was invaluable. Yeah. Sheriff Greenwalt was in there. He has a ton of experience running the riverboat days and the races and all that stuff that we have here in town. So we had a wealth of experience in there as we were making these decisions on how we want stuff to flow. So I think people really need to know that. But that's a huge thing that we've kind of got checked off our list as we're going forward.
So I got my sewer bill, and I saw in there it was listed what roads are going to be closed and different things like that. So the information is out there for the people.
That was Josh's idea, which was outstanding. And we're trying to make sure that we put the information in multiple places. So however you get your news or your information, hopefully we get it. Because I don't want anybody coming to me on June 8th saying, well, I didn't know. Yeah. I would hope that if you don't know, you weren't looking, right? Because we want to make sure that all that information's out there. We've done a lot of public forums. We've done a lot of stuff with KROS. Josh just comes in once a month and talks, and I've been talking about it too once a month here. So I think the information's out there. And yes, there could still be some questions, but I think we're trying to address everything as we can.
Let's talk a little bit about road construction. There's a lot of that, of course, going on at this time of year. Give us an update on what's going to be taking place in Clinton.
Yeah, I think you're going to see the normal pavement management program where there's some patching here and there and some things like that. The biggest one that we have going on right now is kind of right by the YWCA in front of the City Hall area there, getting that road completely redone. Half is done. They're finishing up the rest of it. I don't know how. I haven't been down there. I wasn't down there today, so I don't know how far. I'm looking every day to see the progress, So I think that's your biggest one. Obviously, we're still gearing up for getting roads done throughout the neighborhood. If you look on First Avenue right now, you'll see a sewer separation project going on, which is kind of getting the wastewater and the stormwater separated away. So there's a lot of construction in that area, and that's one of the largest projects that we have going on right now.
And of course, people are interested, with the manufacturing drive Lincoln Way. When is that all going to start kicking in?
That will be groundbreaking next spring.
Okay.
So at some point this year, I'm sure Jason will be letting bids out and getting that going. I don't know how early they do that specifically for a project that large. It might be might be more in the summer to fall timeframe when stuff like that gets let out. But we're right on pace to get that project rolling.
Okay, and I know we've talked about this in the past with you, but are they going to go from one end to the other, or
Yep.
how's that going to work? Which end are they going to
Tear
start
the whole
from?
thing up.
Which
at
end
one
are they?
time.
Which
No.
end are they starting?
They're
from?
going to start Lincoln Way, Highway 30.
Okay.
And work Manufacturing Drive all the way down to 4th Street. So.
Right near Congregational Church.
Yep.
What a project!
Isn't that's 7th, right? Yeah,
Yes,
7th.
yeah.
Yep. So so that's the flow of that and how that'll work. So, yeah.
What
It'll
else
be
is
good.
going on in the city, Scott?
Well, I think we talked about downtown earlier, and I had it on my list, and I forgot to bring it up. But the businesses that got the facade grants, if you drive downtown near the Free Spirit Yoga or on 5th Avenue South or up in the Lions area with Rastrelli's, you will start to see the unveilings, I guess, of the finished products of these things. So materials are coming in. They're working hard to get that stuff going. I think it's going to take a little longer than we expected just because of logistics as far as supply chain. So we actually did a letter at the last meeting for an extension on those because they're supposed to be done by the end of this month. So we're slowly getting all that stuff done. So you're going to see five businesses with a great new facade on them, which is going to be really good, and hopefully we can find another program of that nature. Maybe we can get some other people into that program as well, and we can help out some citizens along there. So that's a $600,000 project. It was 200 from IEDA, 200 from the city, 200 from the businesses. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. Downtown Doodads, Brown Shoe Fit, right in that area.
Yeah, so
they're getting some more.
Hallmark, yep, and then the one next to it that Mr. Kettleson owns, the old Focus building that is owned by Elite Graphics and Design Works now.
Yeah, okay.
The Free Spirit Yoga, and then Rastrelli's, yeah.
Okay, in the spring, you kind of take care of like the budget and different things like that. Now that's been taken care of. What's the focus now going forward?
I think one of the focuses is we've been on a journey of cleaning up our ordinances. We have found that in the past there could have been some hodgepodge stuff put together and some conflicting things here and there. So one thing that we've really been trying to do is, as we update ordinances and as we work through things, we deconflict so that if you go to one section of our code, it doesn't say one thing and then the other code says something else. So that's an ongoing thing that's been big in a lot of ways. But other than that, I mean, the focus of the city council kind of lifts and shifts as things come up, but it'll be October before we know it, and we'll be right back into budget stuff, you know what I mean? So but I think the ordinance piece is really the biggest thing that I know a lot of council members are concerned about.
As always, we appreciate your time. Any closing comments before we do let you go out on what appears to be a nice day?
Yeah, no, it's a great day. I would just say that if you're still looking for tickets for the Tailgate and Tall Boys, there's a lot of ways to get discounts. We have a lot of local businesses that have sponsored, and they have discount codes and different things like that. So if you're looking, share those codes with everybody, because we want to make sure we have as many people here to have fun as possible. I do want a special thank you. I can't name them all, but thank you to all the businesses that sponsored. We have about $350,000 worth of sponsors that have come on board for the festival, so we're extremely excited for that. And then with trade outs and different things like that, I don't have that exact number, but trade out would be like a service for tickets or something like that. Using those numbers as well, we've definitely hit our $500,000 goal in sponsorships, which is what we set out for at the beginning. So
Website for the city.
What's that?
What's the website for the city if people want to check out more information about the city of Clinton?
www.cityofclintoniowa.gov.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming
All
in.
right. See you.